Hello everyone, how you folks doing? I haven't done one of these in a while. My name is Armando, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about somebody very famous. His name is Joseph Kekuku. He's the inventor of the steel guitar. So this is what this video is about. So let's get started. I'm showing a picture now of Joseph Kekuku. Now, he was born in Laie, in the North Shore, a village on the island of Oahu, Hawaii. When Joseph was 15, he and his cousin Sam Nainoa left for boarding school in Honolulu. And in 1889, while attending the Kamehameha School for Boys, Kekuku accidentally discovered the sound of the steel guitar. Now, in an article first seen in 1932, C.S. Delano, publisher of Hawaiian music in Los Angeles, whose Hawaiian love song was the first original composition to be written for the Hawaiian steel guitar, said, "Joseph told me that he was walking along a road in Honolulu 42 years ago, holding an old Spanish guitar, when he saw a rusty bolt on the ground. Now, as he picked it up, the bolt accidentally vibrated one of the strings and produced a new tone that was rather pleasing. Now, after practicing for a time with the metal bolt, Joe experimented with the back of a pocket knife, then with the back of a steel comb, and still later on with the highly polished steel bar, very similar to the sort that's used today." So that's how it started. That was the beginning of the steel guitar. Now, in 1904, at the age of 30, Kekuku left Hawaii and would never return. He started in the United States by performing in vaudeville theaters from coast to coast. His group was Kekuku's Hawaiian Quintet, and were sponsored by a management group called the Affiliated. Now I'm showing a picture of that group, the Quintet. There's a picture of that, and showing a picture of him again. Now in 1919, Kekuku left the U.S. for an 8-year tour of Europe, traveling with the Bird of Paradise show. Now, the Bird of Paradise show started on Broadway and was well received in Europe. I'm showing a picture of that Bird of Paradise. It shows the Salt Lake Theater show. Now, Kekuku returned to America on board the United States Line ocean liner SS Republic in October 1926. Now, on the evening of October 3rd, he performed in the passenger-led benefit concert for Seamen's Charities and the Actors Fund of the United States, as was customary on transatlantic crossings. In the program from the evening, he is referred to as Mr. Joseph Kekuku, originator of the Hawaiian guitar method. Now, the Bird of Paradise was so popular that it became a film in 1932 and again in 1951, though Kekuku was not in either of the films. Okay, so anyways, at the age of 53, Kekuku settled in Chicago and ran a popular and successful music school. In 1932, Joseph Kekuku lived in Dover, New Jersey, with his wife and gave Hawaiian guitar lessons. Now, in the early 20th century, Hawaiian music, or a kind of anglicized version of Hawaiian music, was the most popular music in America. The steel guitar was a big part of what made Hawaiian music so popular. Okay, so it was a very new modern style, says John Troutman, curator of American music at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History. His book, Kila Kila, How the Hawaiian Steel Guitar Changed the Sound of Modern Music, was published in 2016. Now, let's see. People were remarking left and right all day long about how this is an entirely new concept for playing the guitar, how it sounded unlike any other guitar playing they've ever heard in their lives. Okay? No one knows for sure how the Hawaiian steel guitar was invented, but many credit a native Hawaiian from Oahu named Joseph Kekuku. So he is credited with inventing the steel guitar. There are a few legends, and I mentioned one of them, how he created the first sound, but there are a few legends about how Kekuku first created this new sound. But the story told in his family involves a metal comb that Kekuku carried in his pocket. So let's hear that version of the story. He leaned over to pick up his guitar, and it fell out of his pocket and hit the strings on the neck of his guitar and created different sounds that he hadn't heard before, says Elizabeth Archambault. Her great-grandfather was first cousins with Joseph Kekuku. They grew up together playing music in Laie, which again is in the North Shore of Oahu. Okay, now Kekuku fabricated a steel bar and finger picks to pluck the strings and run a bar across over the strings, as well as developing a style of playing that could translate to other guitars and genres of music. Again, so that's how the steel guitar began, and Kekuku did most of this as a high school student at Kamehameha Schools in Honolulu. When he was demonstrating this, all the other kids just freaked out, and they began taking this idea to all of the islands, Troutman says. And so by the early 1900s, you see examples of this popping up all over Hawaii. So it became very popular at that time. Now, Hawaii was undergoing massive change in the early 1900s. It was just a few years after the overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom, and times were tough for Hawaiians. So, most of the jobs available to Hawaiians at the time were low-paying menial labor. So Hawaiian music really served multiple purposes in the 1890s, Troutman says. So a lot of them went into Hawaiian music. On the one hand, music gave many Hawaiians the ability to support their families. It also helped preserve Hawaiian language at a time when its use was being widely discouraged, and many musicians were also using their platform to promote sovereignty and cultural pride. In 1904, Kekuku quit his job as a clerk in Honolulu and set sail for the mainland. He set up shop in Seattle, playing with local bands and teaching other musicians how to play steel guitar. Okay, so now, before long, Kekuku was touring up and down the West Coast playing with other Hawaiian bands. Hawaiian music was catching fire, and Hawaiian musicians were heading to the U.S. in greater and greater numbers. Okay. Now, on January 16, 1932, at the age of 58, Kekuku died in Morristown, New Jersey, of a cerebral hemorrhage. Kekuku is buried in Orchard Street Cemetery. So he stayed on the mainland in his career. Now, in 1993, Joseph Kekuku was inducted into the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame with full honors as the inventor of the Hawaiian steel guitar. A statue of him was erected at the Polynesian Cultural Center in Hawaii in 2015, and I saw that statue recently when I went there. And showing a picture of that statue at the Polynesian Cultural Center. That's kind of like close to the entrance. I've seen that. I've taken pictures of that before. And here's another picture showing, let's see, her name is Elizabeth Archibald, poses with the statue of Joseph Kekuku. Her great-grandfather was Kekuku's cousin and grew up playing music with him in Laie. So that's showing the picture of her with the statue, next to the statue. Now, I remember the story of Joseph Kekuku from my high school days at Kamehameha. My music teacher was Aunty Nona Beamer, and she told us the story, and I was really amazed that a Kamehameha graduate invented the steel guitar, and that today it still amazes me. But I think this story is very important. It needs to be told, and I hope you found this video interesting, and mahalo for watching, and ahui ho.